Let's prepare. Got it. Okay. Okay, setting up the meeting. I'm going to reiterate who I am, Michael. So, okay. Hello, people. My name's Dave Putson. I'm the convener of this live stream to YouTube and the Socialist Sunday special in relation to Michael Gavin, the NEU officer that we're going to be sort of having a conversation with tonight. So, Michael, welcome. Good to see you. Do you want to give
the... And you, Dave, and your comrades.
Yeah. Do you want to give the meeting a brief sort of resume of who you are, what you do, and then we've got three people who are going to be asking you questions tonight. I'm going to be asking some questions on behalf of a comrade. She's had to go off to a meeting, so she's not available, but I'll be asking the questions on behalf of her, but there are the two other people asking questions as well. So give us a brief resume, if you would, of who you are, what this is about, and then we'll get into the questions with you.
Okay, Dave, we'll do. Yeah, happy to see everyone here tonight. My name is Michael Gavin. I'm a regional official with the National Education Union, worked for the union for the last 5 years. I'm also a Unite rep for the staff at the London region of the NEU, and I'm facing a difficult situation at work at the moment. I've always tried to do my best in supporting NEU members, whether they're taking action collectively or as individuals, and I believe that's what I'm still trying to do, and I'm disappointed that my employer doesn't see it that way.
Thank you, Michael. So what we're going to do now is, now you've given us that resume, then I'm going to go to Steve Mackenzie. And so I'm going to reiterate who I am, Michael. So I'm going to, okay, hello, people. Delete that screen so that we can carry on with this. Don't need to be looking at YouTube whilst we're doing it. So I'm going to go to Steve Mackenzie now so that Steve can ask the first of 5 questions he's got for you, Michael.
Hello, Michael. Thanks for joining us tonight. Got a few questions for you. Could you tell us exactly what you've been charged with by your employer, the NEU?
Steve, yeah, what I've been accused of is continuing to advise a member after their case has been transferred to solicitors. And I've also been accused of briefing a member contrary to the advice from a colleague and undermining that colleague. So those are the charges against me.
Right, so let's just clarify this. Am I right in believing that you assisted an NEU member to appeal the NEU solicitor's decision to withdraw legal support for that member's legal case?
Yeah, that's basically it, Steve. What happened is that we're a union that has teachers in it, but we also got a union that's got teaching assistants. And one of those low-paid teaching assistants, black female member, had worked in education for many, many years, very dedicated, very hardworking. She was bullied and unfairly dismissed by her school, and she had a strong case to win at an employment tribunal. Now, unfortunately, 5 weeks before her case was due to be heard, our legal colleagues decided they were going to drop that member and leave her high and dry. And I just felt very strongly that that was the wrong thing to do. And so when that member reached out to me for help, I continued to help her, and I gave every assistance I could to try and make sure she got her legal assistance reinstated.
Right, yeah, because that partially answers the next question. And I was going to ask you, is it correct the member's appeal was upheld and the legal support was reinstated as a result of that appeal?
Yeah, that's right, Steve. I helped the member appeal. I wrote her appeal for her, and her appeal was successful, and she got her legal representation back. I was very pleased about that.
Good. Am I right that the member went on to win substantial compensation?
She got a good result, Steve. What happened was that she always had a winnable case, and it was a situation where the employer realised that they were at serious risk of losing. So they came forward with a reasonable offer, a fair offer, and what they offered her was 6 months gross pay tax-free, and equally importantly, they gave her a glowing reference so she could restart her career. That second point was really important, Steve, because without that, she would never have worked in school again. Her entire career would have been over, despite having an exemplary record prior to her dismissal, and someone who was really dedicated to supporting disadvantaged children. So the fact she's back working again, I'm really pleased.
Right. I've got one final question, and I think everyone is just as annoyed as I am hearing this is happening to you. Just so as we're going to be absolutely clear, for helping a member to appeal a decision of the union to withdraw legal assistance, an appeal that was correctly upheld, you are being dragged through the disciplinary process. Is this correct?
Sadly, it is, Stephen. That's the part I don't understand, because if I'd supported a member who had no case or no chance, then I'd have been wasting everybody's time. But this wasn't the case. This was a situation where the member always had a winnable case, but the union's legal representatives weren't prepared to see the case through. And I felt that was letting down the member, letting down the members in her school, and also letting down her branch. So that's why I felt so strongly she had to be supported. So I felt and I thought that once we'd won the appeal, that would have been the end of it. But unfortunately, even though the member went on to get a very good settlement, it looks as if I'm being punished for daring to disagree with one of the legal colleagues in our union.
Thank you very much for that, Michael. That's all from me, and I'm absolutely annoyed, very, very annoyed to hear what's happening to you. All the best.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate your support.
Michael, I'm now going to be asking a few questions on behalf of, as I said to you earlier on, the member that's had to go off to a meeting tonight. So bear with me while I try and sort of ask her questions as best I can. So the first question from her to you was, how did management respond when you became a Unite rep in the London region of the NEU?
Well, unfortunately, it didn't go down too well, Dave. We've got 2 reps in our region. We were both elected last February, and we decided to take a much more proactive approach representing members inside the London region of the NEU. Staff have been through a lot. We all know workers up and down the country have faced a lot of hardship through COVID and all the other challenges that come with it. And it's important, I felt, and my co-rep felt the same, that our union treated its staff in the London office as fairly as it should do. So we were very determined to raise issues on behalf of our members, but unfortunately, what we raised wasn't well received by the management. So
her second question is, what are NEU management's relations like with Unite?
Unfortunately, on the region, not very good. I'll give you an example of what they're like, Dave. When we go into schools, whenever we go there, we always say to the head, we want you to meet with the union regularly. And to be fair, some of them agree to do that, but some don't. Some can be quite hostile. And one of the things hostile heads often say, in my experience, is, well, I don't need to meet with the union reps because my door is always open and I can meet with any individual member of staff I like. Now, when a head says that, that's a pretty big giveaway. They're anti-union. So I was very surprised that when we said to the regional secretary of the NEU, we want to have regular meetings, their response was, we don't need to do that because my door is always open and I can meet with individual staff whenever I want. That doesn't sound like a very pro-union attitude, and I'm afraid it wasn't.
Her third question, Michael, is there any rule in the NEU which says a regional officer can't assist an NEU member with their appeal against the withdrawal of legal representation?
No, there's absolutely no rule at all. I haven't broken any rule, Dave, by supporting the member getting their legal assistance reinstated. I haven't done any breach of rule whatsoever. And again, you know, if I'd wasted colleagues' time or if I'd misled the member, if I'd told them they'd got a case when they hadn't, then okay. I can understand them saying, look, you've wasted everybody's time, you shouldn't have done it. But this was never like that. This was always a case of a low-paid, dedicated member who had a career destroyed by an unfair and arbitrary school management. And I was simply doing my job, making sure that member got the best representation they could. And I'm very dismayed that that's gone down so badly with my own union.
Okay. Her fourth question, Michael, is what do you think would have happened to this member if you hadn't supported them?
Well, I'm not going to say that I did a fantastic job. I'm not going to blow my own trumpet. But to be honest, Dave, if I hadn't backed that member, they would not have got their legal assistance reinstated. And even though they always had a good case, they simply would have been outmatched at any employment tribunal. They've been outgunned by the employer. They couldn't have stood up to them and their case would have been lost. They might even have been intimidated and bullied into withdrawing their claim. So I believe, and the member does too, that's most important to me, they believe that my intervention was crucial in making sure they won their case.
Okay, and her final question, Michael, is what does it say about the values of the NEU that this member was going to be abandoned?
Well, I was very shocked because the values of the NEU are to do the best for their members. So I always felt I was honouring the values of the NEU, and the fact that didn't seem to be important came as a real shock to me, and I was very disappointed by it.
Michael, you know that you'll always have my solidarity. You'll always have our solidarity. We're wishing you well on this one. I'm seeing that Larry Hyatt is indicating to ask some questions, so I'm going to hand over to Larry Hyatt now. So, Larry, do you want to ask your questions, please?
Yes, thank you very much, Dave. And thank you, Michael, for your clear and modest answers to questions so far. And what I will say is that I'm a Unite member myself from Hastings. I'm in the local Labour Party in Battle, and I'm a Hastings Trade Union Council delegate from Unite. So I'm familiar with some of the problems that you're facing, but the questions I would like to ask you is it fair to say that some of the outcomes of the cases you have been involved in that capacity has caused the NEU management some difficulties and inconvenience?
Well, I guess it has, Larry, in that I've had to raise cases on behalf of NEU members inside the NEU, and I've also raised cases on behalf of Unite members. And I guess management know that I will always persist in trying to raise those cases in the strongest way I will, and sometimes that isn't very well received.
Thank you very much. I'd like to just supplement some of the some further questions to you, if I may. And that is, how long have you been an NEU officer, and how long have you been a Unite trade union rep within the NEU?
Well, Larry, I've been an officer with the NEU for almost 5 years, and I've been a Unite rep for just over a year. I've been a lay official in other unions and in Unite before for quite a long time. I've been chair of a branch and held various positions. So, yeah, I've got a little bit of experience of representing members, and I always believe very strongly that we always have to represent what our members say and what they want. We can't, ever ignore what they want us to do. We need to be accountable and do the best we can for them, and that's my approach. That's my philosophy, Larry.
Thank you. Just one further point, or 2 points, if I may. On a personal note, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but on a person, what has been the impact upon you and your family of this decision by the NEU to discipline you for doing the job that you're currently being paid for?
Yeah, no, it's been stressful, Larry. Yeah, because working for a trade union is a great privilege, and I'm delighted to work for a union. I was a lay official for many years, and after I got sacked, I was victimised by my employer before and was sacked for being a lay official for some of the activities that I undertook. I was dismissed for organising unofficial union action. So I've been down the road of being badly treated by an employer. So I was surprised to come to the NEU and feel I'm being victimised by them. That's very disappointing for me. So yeah, it's been stressful and disappointing, Larry, for sure.
Well, thank you on that point, and it just encourages me to bring another point to the fore, and that is, do you have a message for any other trade unionists that are now currently experiencing similar actions in their own trade unions?
Yeah, well, sadly, there are examples of those, Larry. People who are trying to do their best for the movement, trying to do the best for their members, and instead of getting support from their own unions, they're being pushed back and not getting the recognition or backup they deserve. And what I'd say to them is, keep the faith, keep doing what you're doing, keep to your trade union principles, keep believing in the socialist cause, because that's the way to carry on your best approach. And when you do that, you'll get tremendous solidarity across the movement, like the solidarity that's been shown to me.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. But we will certainly be raising these issues at the Hastings Unite branch coming up shortly. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate your support.
Thank you, Larry. Michael, we're going to go back to Steve for a further question. So over to Steve McKenzie.
Yeah, Michael, I've got one further question, but before I ask it, just to let you know that I'm a member of the Greenwich, Lewisham and Bexley Community Branch of Unite as well, and we shall be raising that in our branch as well. And thank you, Larry Hyatt, for reminding me of the fact that we should be doing that. The question I've got for you, Michael, is this. What is the message, if any, you have for both your Unite colleagues working for the NEU and to the NEU membership as a whole?
Two messages, Larry. To my Unite sisters and brothers, thank you for your great support and solidarity, because I've had fantastic support from all of them, and I really appreciate that. And for NEU members, just to say to them that the people who work for the union, the vast majority of them want to do the very best for NEU members, want to get out there and defend them, and we'll try and continue to do that as hard as we can.
Thank you, Michael. I've got a supplementary question on behalf of the lady that can't be with us tonight. So she's asking once again, what does the future hold for you now, do you think?
Well, I'm certainly not going to quit. I'm going to try and stay with the NEU as long as I can. And I'm going to try and do the best job that I possibly can. And I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in supporting members. I'm not the type of regional official who tries to stop members from taking action. On the contrary, I'll always give them my full support in doing so. So my intention, Dave and comrades, is to just carry that on as long as I can and just doing the best I can.
Thank you, Michael. We're going to go back to Larry for a final sort of question from Larry Hyatt now. Larry?
Yeah, can't help myself, Michael. I've got to ask questions like this. But would this type of NEU behaviour make you less likely or to follow your socialist beliefs, or more likely? I know it's a tricky question, you know, and sometimes people don't know how to answer those, but I'd like to hear your view on it.
Well, Larry, we all know, don't we, that socialist beliefs and socialist struggle, it brings its hardships, no doubt about it. But mine are small compared to what other comrades in the movement have to face. And I'm going to stay dedicated to my views and my commitment to the movement. Socialism is what motivates all of us, doesn't it? All of us on the left trying to do everything we can to stand up for trade union rights, trade union solidarity, and most importantly, stand up for our members. So that's what I believe in, and I'm not going to depart for that. I'm going to stick to it. Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Michael, we've got a little bit of time because I was allocating about 30 minutes for this YouTube sort of live feed. So we've got a little bit of time. So I'm going to take a couple of questions from the floor. And the first person I can see indicating is Teresa Clark. So I'm going to ask you to unmute, Teresa, and ask your question to Michael.
Thank you, Dave. Hi, Michael. I'm sorry I missed the first couple of minutes of your presentation. I'm also in Unite Community, Greenwich, Lewisham and Bexley branch, where I'm social media officer. But the reason I'm asking a question is because I'm also a member of NEU. And in fact, I joined what was then the NUT in 1971. So I'm now a retired member, obviously, otherwise I couldn't be in Unite Community. I would like to ask you what you would like from those of us who are NEU members.
Well, Teresa, that's a very good question. And what I'd say is I've had so much solidarity and support from colleagues and comrades across the movement. What I would say to colleagues like yourself and comrades is, if you can continue to give me that support, continue to send messages to the General Secretary asking for the victimisation of me to be dropped, continue to call on management to stop treating me in the unfair way they have, then that would be much appreciated.
Thanks, Michael. Is there any publicity or leaflet or anything around your case that I could read and bring up at my NEU branch meeting? Dave has my email address.
Yeah, well, Unite has said to the NEU that if they don't stop their victimisation of me, then our members will take industrial action. We have voted to go on strike if they decide to levy a disciplinary sanction against me. So we'll know about that in a few days. And some provisional strike dates have been set. The first could be this Friday, although more likely the action's going to be on the 20th and 21st of April. So we'll be publicising that. And we'd urge comrades to come to the demo we're going to hold outside NEU headquarters on that day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Michael, when we started this meeting, we placed the press release at the front of the screen and shared it with everybody. Is there any reason why we can't share that sort of more widely? Is that press release ready to go now? I mean, I know
It's ready to go, Dave. Yeah, please do circulate it as widely as you can.
Okay, well, what we'll do then is we will actually sort of I'll put that out on an email after this meeting closes out. And what I would invite you to do now, Michael, if you have any, I mean, it's not compulsory, but if you have any closing comments you want to make, then we can sort of wrap this meeting up now with your closing comments.
All right, Dave and comrades, I just want to say a big thank you to yourselves, everyone who's come this evening to show your support. I do appreciate it. What I'm trying to do, I'm not claiming that I'm any kind of martyr or anyone special. Far from it. I'm not. I'm just a guy trying to do his best for the union and for his members. And your solidarity and support, I really appreciate. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Much appreciated. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sort of end the recording, end the live YouTube feed, and hopefully, because this recording is 22 minutes long, it will be sufficient for people to view at their leisure if they haven't been able to get to the live feed, because it will be on the Socialist Sunday YouTube channel. So that's where they can access it. So any NEU members that you're having a conversation with, just refer them to the Socialist Sunday YouTube channel, and they'll be able to see it there. It'll be almost immediately going up after this meeting closes out.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Really appreciate that.
Thank you for your time, Michael. Much appreciated. Hope you enjoy your evening. And thank you to everybody that's been along and attended this meeting tonight. Thank you, Michael.
All the best,
Michael.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
All the best, Michael. Solidarity Day.
Thank you, Mike.